guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video of Millennial Wealth. I am your host Miguel, and we are here to talk about wealth, finances, life, kids, whatever, guys. Because I don't know you, right? But at least none of this was taught to me by my parents, by my school. So I'm here trying to undo all the damage I've done in my life. And if one of you out there watching this, it's listening, and it actually can learn from my mistakes, you're gonna be 100% more successful than I was. Because I lost 10 years of my life trying to figure this out, so hopefully we can set you up, guys. So today, and by the way, I have some bullet points here, so if you see me looking here, when I talk a lot about numbers and statistics, I like to get them right. I don't want to come back and do a little bit of a correction later. We have 3 articles that I want to read today, not read, but discuss today. The first of all, it says that this one is from CNBC, and all the links are going to be in the description, by the way. 32% of the workers run out of money before their payday. Then we're going to talk about another one. Congratulations, United States. We just reached the highest household debt. That word is hard in English. DEBT, debt. In the US in a while, guys. $14 trillion, and that's not like government debt. That is you watching this in the States, me, my wife, everyone living in here, guys. And then the other one, it's kind of the same, talking about how this is the highest the national debt has been since the financial crisis of 2008, which, you know, a lot of people like to find those correlations to make sure that they say the crash is coming and it's here because of this. And I did a video talking about the crash is coming, and while I was reading what analysts were saying and comparing it to 2008, I went from like nobody knows to holy crap, these people are making some good points. So check that video out if you guys are scared. Yeah, right. And I want to start prefacing this video because this is a very, very sensitive topic, and I 100% acknowledge that there's people out there that they're doing the best they can. This video is not for you. If you are doing everything in your power, I get it, guys. It's not easy, right? I have family, I have friends that they're in similar situations to this. So I'm not trying to do one of those wow, thanks, I'm cured kind of thing, like you have money problems, make more money. Hey! That's not the purpose of this video. That's not what I'm preaching here. I understand everyone's situation, it's different. And I'm not here to talk about those. I'm talking about other cases, guys. Unfortunately, we have a few problems going on right now. And these problems are part of the United States, right? We have some problems that are systematic, us as a country, but then there's other problems that are personal, and they're happening because the way we are raising people in the United States to be consumers. And I'm not trying to get all but it's the truth, guys. So the first thing I want to talk, it's that the wages are not keeping up with the cost of living. That is one of the main problems we are having in the United States as a whole. The rise of healthcare costs, housing costs, food costs, and inflation, and in general, it's way more than what the average person makes, right? So what does this mean? This means that basically 10 years ago, the average person was doing better than today. So guys, PayScale found that the median wages, when adjusted for inflation, actually declined 9% since 2006. What does that mean? That 14 years ago, the average American was doing better, but it wasn't doing better because it was making more money. It was doing better because the cost of living was easier, right? It was a lot more flexible. And I mean, this is not a secret, guys. Like, of course, my grandparents, right? My granddad, he raised like 5 kids, working like at a shoe store, had a house, bought another house, and it was fine, right? Obviously back then people didn't spend as much money as we have today, which is also another one of the problems. But obviously, you know, now you can't barely make it, you know, like the average person in the United States, the average household, the average family cannot make it on current wages. So guys, and this is where the study comes from, which is super heartbreaking, by the way. 1/3, 1 in every 3 Americans workers run out of money before the payday. And you know what's the kicker? even those, and I like how they hyphenated, even those earning over $100,000, right? And I want to take you to a personal experience here. I was making really good money, right? And I would be like, holy crap, I really need to get paid, because if not, what am I gonna do, right? My credit card is maxed, so I get paid. I put like whatever, $300-$400 in the credit card, and now I'm like, okay, so now what do I do, right? However, guys, I had the nicest new car. I had the coolest apartment ever, right? Back when I was single. I had everything I ever wanted. I would go like on several trips every year. I would do whatever I want, right? I was single. It's what you do, right? That's what I work for. Hey, right? So I was part of this. And before recording this video, I was just talking to my wife. And I said, do you remember, when did we turn things around? When was the moment? And I think it was a gradual stuff, because we had a credit card, my wife and I, and we would pay it off every single time we got like a bonus or tax return or whatever. We would always pay it off, right? And then we would be like 3 months later, oh, the card is max again. What happened here? And I think we did that 2, 3, 4, I don't know, 5, 6, 7. We did it so much that at one point, I told her, I don't like this. I don't want to live like this anymore. This sucks, right? Like, what's the point of making all this money if I have to keep paying the credit card? And I don't even know what I have, right? That's the thing that really hurts me, like, as a person. Like, you look at a max credit card, and I look around and say, what do we have? Where's this money going, right? In my case, I was mostly responsible. I love eating out, and I would eat out a lot. I would eat out every single lunch at work, and guys, it adds up, right? $15-$20 every single lunch over a month is a lot of money, right? Having new cars, it adds up. So I think it was part of my fault, and that's when we started turning things around. You know what? I'm just gonna take leftovers. I'm just gonna make a little bit more food. I'm just gonna sell my car. And my wife and I, by the way, the more money we made, right? Like, when we were going up and up and up, the less money we spent. But in our case, before we had my son, my wife and I had agreed that we wanted her to stay home. She always wanted to stay home. That was one of her dreams. So it's like, well, you can't right now. We don't have money for you. We cannot afford you not working. So now I think that's the turning point, right? When we were talking about having kids, oh my goodness, thank you. Doing this video, it's just helping me out. When we decided we wanted to have kids, and we look at our balance sheets, we were like, we cannot afford you not working, because we have 2 cars that we're making payments on, and we have a house, and we eat out every other night. That's when things change for us. So the sad part about this graph right here, guys, it's that people making over $200,000, 32% are running paycheck to paycheck. They're running out of money between checks. And to me, living paycheck by paycheck is that, you know, once you get paid, all your money immediately goes out for bills, and you have nothing to save. You have nothing extra to go out. It's like, oh, so now what do we do, right? So necessarily, right, like, if you have a budget, ideally you're gonna run out of money at the beginning of your next paycheck, because you're putting money into savings, because you're putting this here and there and there. So you know where all your money is going, right? But how does this happen is the life creep, I believe is the name of it. I'm making so much money, right? So I must get a newer car. I'm getting all this money. I should get a new apartment. And it's just more and more of that, and people will never be satisfied, guys. People finances are like noble gases. They will take all the space you put them in, right? Which is a problem, right? People making more money and just spending more, and then you have nothing at the end of the day. So again, guys, if you look at that graph right there, there's people that make less than $15,000, and that's a hard place to be, guys. And I mean, other than, you know, having to start looking for side gigs, trying to improve your education, it's very, very hard, you know, especially single moms out there. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. And if you don't have family or friends helping you out, it is extremely, extremely hard. And at those people, I legitimately don't know, like, other than, you know, trying to get better education, to trying to find better jobs, and trying to think long term, like 10 years from now, what can I do so I can make more money? It's definitely important, but I understand that not everyone can do it. And that's why we have to look out for after our families and after our friends, guys, because there are some people out there that unfortunately it didn't work out, and that's why other people should be on the lookout for them. So what's the problem with this, right? Because then if you check here, there's another graph they added, which is like higher income doesn't equal less money worries, right? So they have what percentage of people worry about money, and they all hover around 35% to 50%. All of them actually do. And then you have people making over $200,000 with 40%. So 4 out of 10 of those people making over $200,000. And in case you guys don't know how much $200,000, even after taxes, that's like $10,000 a month, right? That's a lot of money. How? Like, how? Dude, you would think, right, that at that point in life where you're making more money than than some countries, that you'd be like, oh, okay, cool, I can take it easy now. No, but they're still worrying about money, guys, and that baffles me. Because my wife and I, right, and I can only speak about experience, we've climbed that graph quite a lot. And dude, now I'm in a situation in which I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll stop working in a few years and I'll drive Uber for the rest of my life, because that sounds pretty interesting to me. So now, guys, the problem with that is obviously mental health, right? If you stress a lot, right? If you can't sleep because you have money problems, guys, it all adds up. You get worse sleep, you perform worse, you start getting really, really stressed all the time. I've been there to a lesser degree than most people, but I've been there, like especially when living to paycheck and you send a payment and you're like, I hope it doesn't go through until next Monday, which it's a really crappy place to be, guys. There's nothing romantic about being broke. There's nothing like how some movies put some cute music about the girl that don't have no money and it's living in New York, and it's so fun that she's eating ramen while finding quarters out of the laundromat. I watched a movie recently that did that. There's nothing romantic. There's nothing good. There's nothing nice about being broke, guys. It sucks, right? So now I want to correlate that first article, right, with the other two, which is the national household debt, right? So you, me, everyone living in the United States right now, it's risen to $14.15 trillion, guys. So we adults in the United States, guys, we own a lot of money. Most of it is house. Then we have some autos, student loans, credit cards, and then others. What's others? I have no idea. Medical bills, I guess. Boats. I don't know, lawsuits, whatever it is. And if you check how much the average household, like the average price of a house in the United States, guys, they keep going up and up and up. Housing is so expensive. But then you have people that legitimately live outside of their means, guys, right? And I'm not telling everyone go and buy $100,000 home. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have to realistically see how much money you are making, and you have to buy a house that you can comfortably pay, right? The first house that my wife and I bought cost $120,000, guys. It wasn't the nicest neighborhood around. My car got broken into several times, and that's, by the way, if you watch my other YouTube channel, that's where all my videos started. It wasn't that nice of a place, right? And it was like a condo. It was pretty something, right? But you know what? We paid $600 a month, and it was pretty affordable. And then afterwards, after we pay a lot on that house, we were able to use all that money and buy a bigger house and put us in a way better situation, guys. But you have, people graduating out of college, or people buying their first house, and it's a $300,000 house, $250,000 house. And that sucks, right? And then you couple on top of that, they buy a brand new car, which, by the way, we did a video. Last video we did was talking about that. The average car price sale in the United States was $33,000, $600 a month. It all adds up, guys. You cannot pay $600. You cannot afford a $33,000 car when the average U.S., the average household income in the U.S. is $62,000, guys. You cannot have a $34,000 when your household income is $62,000. Yet we do, right? Yet we buy a $250,000 house. Yet we put our kids in private schools. And that's not, guys, that's not the whole point of it. We have to legitimately budget. We have to legitimately plan, guys. If we don't plan our financial future, we are doomed to fail. You are not gonna win with money by luck, right? Finances, it's not something you can just YOLO at. You have to have a budget, guys. I have a budget, right? And I'm not saying that I'm the moral authority, but we have a budget, my wife and I, and it's like, well, we already spent like $100 eating out. We're done for the next 2 weeks. Let's go to the supermarket and cook something here, but we're not eating out, guys. And we are successful. We have we have built some wealth, but we're thinking in the future, right? I'm thinking of my son. I'm thinking of my wife. I'm thinking of what happens if one day I'm not here. What happens if I lose my job? I've worked hard for this, guys. I work multiple jobs, right? YouTube being one of them. I have a full-time job as an engineer. Like, I work non-stop, period, right? I put my wife and my son to bed and I go back to work. And that's what I do. Why? Because I want to make sure my family is taken care of. I want to make sure that we are set for success in the future, guys. Because you can't manage something that you cannot measure. And by the way, that was something one of my old bosses told me. And it always stuck with me, because it's like, oh, yeah, I make fun of him the first time he told me, because I thought it was like an innuendo joke saying like, you can manage something you can measure. And I was like, I get it. But then, once you get all, it's like, oh, yeah, that's true, right? And then also, part of the problem, by the way, in case you guys were wondering, why is the debt so high? It's because interest rates are very, very low. And I always read the comments on articles like this, because when you read the comments, when you read what normal people, you and I, read there, you notice there's always sentiment. There's always like something that keeps going on and going on. And a lot of the times, I always read these comments. Well, it makes sense to have debt right now because, I can take a loan at 2% and I can invest that money and I can get way more with my investment. Or, yeah, I'm never going to pay off my house because I can make 10% in the stock market or 15%. Or, oh, I'm getting so many miles, I'm going to travel the world. I can't say that that's wrong. I can't say that, yeah, you may make more money on the stock market. What I can say is that having debt sucks, guys. Having things on your name that you have to pay for, it just sucks, guys. It's not fun to have. And I get it, right? Maybe you're doing good, but you know what? People doing that before the financial crisis in 2008, they also thought they were doing good until the whole thing crashed overnight, right? Something happened to you, God forbid, to your health. You're unable to work. Something happened to you, and all of a sudden you have all of this loans, all of this credit card debt, all of this. It's just gonna put more stress on you. It's gonna put more stress on your family, as a house, like at everything, right? And that's where I wanted to be at. I never again want to lose sleep over debt. If I lose my job today, all of them, YouTube, my real job and my other job, that's fine. We'll go back to Tennessee and we'll buy another $100,000 house, and I'll start working at Walmart until I get a new job. I'll start delivering pizzas. There's nothing wrong with that. And, and we'll go from there. But I never want to put any burden in my family, my son, my wife. They should never lose sleep, let alone I don't want to lose sleep over it, let alone them. But anyway, guys, that's all for this video right now. I just wanted to tell you, if I could leave you with one thing, is having debt sucks. Nobody has become a millionaire because of points in their credit card. I don't have a credit card. I used to have credit cards and I used to get so many points and I thought I was the smartest person in the world, until 1 year I had to pay interest because I forgot to pay the card. It got a balance. That's it. All it took was one mistake after many years of owning the cards, and everything was lost. And now I don't fool with it. I pay everything cash. If I don't have cash for it, I can't afford it. Therefore, I won't buy it. I take it out of savings. I start building. Like right now, I know eventually we're going to go back to Tennessee. So I have a fund to buy cars when we move back, right? We have a fund to buy a house when we move back. So it's just things that we are planning. And it's funny because it's something I was talking with my wife this morning. We already have a plan, like 8 years into the future, with parts A, B, and C, right? Everything goes according to plan. Something happened to me, something happened to her, so we plan. So anyway, guys, please plan. Don't romanticize debt. Don't fool with it, guys, as much as you can. If you can have a side gig, if you can do something on the side and just get all that money, pay down your debt, work while you're at school, kill those student loans, guys. If you can, go to a cheaper school you can afford. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be reading the comments. I'm going to be answering to as many of them as I can. I hope everyone's having a fantastic time, a fantastic day, guys. And I'll catch you all later. Bye.